Community means a gathering of people that are working towards the same sort of objectives. So for instance, we might have a community of fishmongers, which they call Billingates Market. Other examples of community might be a street that are very much into each other, they help each other, they work together, they look at each other after as children, they probably do social things together, and that would be the definition of a community. Well, let's go back to my hometown, Highgate, St Mary. There were several big influences in that community. There was a guy who was a tailor, and not only was a tailor, but he used to run the local cricket team. And me as a kid, I must have been 5 or 6, used to sit on the touchline watching these men play cricket. Funny how that's turned out in my life to be such a big thing, this sport thing. And probably it all started from there. And the guy's name was Mr. Cousins, a tailor from Highgate St Mary. I would go along, I'll give my dad some of that. He came from a bit of a privileged family, but that wasn't a bad thing, because he was very understanding about how he brought us up, things that we could do and things that we couldn't do, the importance of education. So I would go along and say that my dad was one of those people. There was also another man in Highgate called Mr. Carpenter. He owned a shop, and you'd go past and sometime he would call you in and give you a couple of sweets and that. But he was just a stable figure in the environment that we grew up in. Coming to the UK, I grew up in a place called Dulwich. We had a guy there who used to deliver the papers and newspapers in the midday and evening papers at the time. And he would sometimes take us and teach us football. But as part of being involved with him, when the races were on, some of the big race meetings, and I can't remember the name of some of these race meetings because I was only a little child, but we would jump in the back of his van, go down to the race course, and you'll have several different people delivering and selling these papers, and we would keep these people supplied with newspapers and sweets and stuff which they were selling to the race going punters. He was a very good footballer, so he shared that with the children that were interested in playing football. We used to have a youth club called the West Indian League, which was aimed at kids that came from the West Indies. And I started attending this thing and playing football. We used to play casual cricket, not competitive cricket. But that brought most of the kids in the neighbourhood from Peckham, from Dulwich, from Forest Hill, from Brixton together twice a week to just meet and share and have socialise with each other. I ended up working in this environment and as one of the youth workers, and learned a lot from that, just to organise things, make things work, looking after younger children, organising events for them and stuff like that. We would go to foreign countries. Never been to Belgium before. We went to Belgium a couple of times, went to France. My parents had to pay for these trips, but it opened my eyes to other things that were going on in the world, other people who spoke different languages, other black people who spoke different languages, which was a bit of a new thing to me. But in all, that was a very, very outward and enlightening part of growing up and being part of something different. I came to England as part of that Windrush generation. Me and my father, my younger brother and my father came at one time, and we were part of that. And looking back, when we got here, whatever the mental picture I had of England, that was quickly shattered by the reality of being here. The explanation from the people around the country didn't educate the local people that these people were invited here, they were coming here to help do something positive. But it was a bit difficult at first. Schooling, I went to a pretty good primary school when I came. And that helped me to succeed a little bit. But even that, because new people meeting new people who didn't have the experience and confidence to deal with it as it should be dealt with, that was probably a bit of a negative sense of it. Positively, I went to a school where sport was a big thing. I could run pretty good, I could play cricket, so I just joined in with that. I had no experience of playing football, but I soon got involved in that, and as you see later on in my life, that played a big part in it. But I give those, when I look at some of the stories I've seen since, people I've met, look at some on TV, it was an old generation of people that took themselves up and took it as a duty for them to come to England to help rebuild the country after the Second World War. I think what could have helped would have been if the government at the time would have spent a bit of time educating the local people that these people were not coming to scrounge, they were coming to actually contribute. I was at the other end, I was near the Oval when this started to happen. And we heard all this noise and commotion. And the time we got up there, most of it was still going on, but it was little fragments of people running around doing whatever, looting and doing all sorts of stuff, burning and all sorts of stuff. But from afterwards now, remembering now and looking at Scarman's report and all the other stuff and that, and speaking to some of the guys who were there, I think the report was a shame. Because I think basically what happened was the guys there was lots of people up there selling cannabis in all the derelict houses. I think the police was involved in some sort of protection thing and taking money off these people. I think there was some sort of refusal about the money. And what started into a push and shove turned into what became the Brixton riots. I wasn't there to witness it, but speaking to people afterwards who were actually there, that was their interpretation, what the message they sent back to me. Well, there was a recognition that there was a problem, which was a good thing, right? The solutions to the problem was to build a few things there and there, like a play court with stuff like that doesn't deal with social issues. So I think if they would have spent a bit more time and a bit more effort, instead of trying to gloss over the problem, they'd have dig a bit deeper to see that there was, some of these people didn't have academic skills to go and get proper work. So they could have focused on that rather than deal with playgrounds and that sort of stuff. Obviously, some people got deported wrongly, got imprisoned wrongly, got disenfranchised in all sorts of other ways, right? But there's also another group of people who, besides all the madness that was going on, still managed to survive, educate themselves, do something positive, and they've been ignored. the thing is, when I came here on my dad's passport, because I was the only child. That was a British, Jamaica at the time was a British colony. So I shouldn't have had no need to get a British passport. But here I was, going up the Home Office, paying my money, and when I tried to claim it back a few months back, they told me I had no case. They gave me, and I've got the documentation to prove it. It's on my webpage, right? That they had no case to refund this money because it was done in such a way that is, well, again, I will say that is ridiculous. You made an error. With any sort of common sense and decency, correct the error. Education is a must, because it gives you a chance to understand what the environment you're living in. It prepares you for work, but it also prepares you if you decide to leave and go and live somewhere else. You have some skills and knowledge to take with you. The opportunity to sit here and talk about time and history and things that have happened right in front of my own eyes is a good little summing up of lots of things that are going on in my head. So thanks for the opportunity. Being part of the wider community as well, playing football with my friends, going to the youth clubs, start meeting young women, start just having a normal growing up situation. So when I look back at those times, some of those things are very positive. They gave you a lot of confidence. They help you to progress in life. So all I can say is, people I've met, thank you for being part of it.